I've been in your waters. I came for sure. I've never been so close before. It's one way or the other.
Hello guys, welcome to Mark Shrimp Tanks. Right, in today's video guys, I want to start off by saying I have some awesome news, some excellent awesome news. A lot of you have been asking about my mother and how she was. Well, the great news is my mother actually pulled through. She had a bit of a medical emergency and I had to go back to Scotland, and that's why I've been away for so long. And that is the main reason for this video today, is to see how my tanks have reacted for being alone for about 8 days. But the great news is guys, my mother actually pulled through and she's healthy. And she got home from intensive care probably on Saturday, I would have imagined, if I could remember. And yeah, I'm just stoked that she's okay. It was nice to see all of my family as well, and probably some of them are watching right now, so hello there. Welcome to Mark Shrimp Keeping. The main issue with today's video, the main story behind today's video is going to be how my tanks have done since I've been away, because I was intrigued just to see if we're going to have deaths or if they're going to be babies. And yeah, I've had a little look, and so far I haven't seen a single dead shrimp. But guys, before I left I did see one single dead shrimp in my orange eye blue tiger tank, and I was a little bit worried that I was going to come back to a tank of death, and I haven't, which is great. So let's have a little look at them and we'll go on from there. Alright shrimp fam, let's start over here. We're going to look at the opale. The tank has actually got a nice green film of algae on the glass in the front, so it shows you even though we only have 4 hours of light in here a day, we're still getting algae, right? So it just goes to show that with that amount of time you can still form a lovely layer of food for your shrimps. One of the things I did notice guys that I've actually fixed off camera is over here. You see a little sponge filter, sometimes this slows down just a tad because it is in salt water. Sometimes the little bit in it where the air goes into the sponge filter clogs up, but yeah, I can't see anything at all wrong with this tank. It just looks the same as it did when I left, apart from being a little bit greener in the front. Let's have a little look below. This tank looks the same. I've literally just put food in right now, and there's probably, I should go over this as well. When we're talking about what I did before, I actually put leaves and stuff in the tanks, and it gives you an idea of how much food the shrimp eat if we look at the leaves and stuff now, because a lot of the tanks I put fresh leaves in as well. Right, so this was a fresh leaf. You can see there's no other leaf in here. I definitely put leaves in before I left, and it's almost gone, the banana leaf. Shrimp are doing good. Tiny bit of string algae. Green jade tank. I did put a little bit of food in here. Looking good. Filters are working. You can see baby shrimps. Awesome. This tank is just doing amazingly good. Look at the leaf here. You see what I mean with the conditioning of the tanks when you have enough stuff in it? Look how many shrimp are in here, and we have a lot of babies in the filters as well, so this tank is thriving. And guys, this tank actually did start to get this thing with where you get lots and lots of shrimp deaths all at once. It did start to get it, and we held off the feeding, we continued with our water changes, and it fixed it, right? So that's how you do it. Let's have a little look. This tank is the same, looking good, no dead shrimp. Tank is really getting overgrown, so it just goes to show 4 hours a day is still enough for plant growth. So this was a tank I was going to be a little bit worried about, because yeah, as I said before I left, I did find one single dead shrimp in the tank, and I was a little bit worried that it was going to come back and there was going to be more, but that is not the case. We have baby shrimp all up the glass on the inside. You can slightly see a little bit of a brown haze on this biofilm here as well. So again, 4 hours a day is enough for biofilm to grow. You can see all the little babies and stuff. These guys have had a lot of babies, which is good. You can see the leaf I put in here for them is almost gone. So that was a banana leaf, guys. I actually have my own little banana trees outside, but I also sometimes get the stuff that you get at sushi stores, and all you do is hang it up and dry it. And yeah, these shrimp are doing good. I can't see anything wrong with the tank at all. There's a tiny bit of string algae, but that's to be expected. Little babies in the gravel, healthy, no deaths, good. Touch wood, that's the way we want it to be. So that rack is fine. This one, shrimp looking good, Water seems to be okay. One of the things I did notice in my soft water shrimp tanks is I need to fill up my oxidators. So I'll maybe do one of them on camera today. Lots of baby shrimp. Leaf is almost gone. Sorry for smashing the camera there. This is the same story here. The leaf here, you can clearly see, is almost gone. Tank looks good apart from all the string algae. These are the little leaves, guys, that I get from my outdoor banana plants that I have. When it comes up to probably October, September, October, something like that, I'll bring them back into the shrimp room so they don't die of frost. Whoop! Let's see, plants need to be watered, that is for sure. Tank looks okay. We did have a lot of baby shrimp in this tank before I left, and yeah, I was looking for them before. I'm seeing the odd one. There's like one here, and I think I can see another one under here, but they were on the glass and stuff, so can't really see lots and lots of them, so that is a little bit of a concern. So we'll have to look at the tank on here as well. Sourcing oxidator needs replaced. This tank is also the same. That is one big buried mama right there, so that is a good sign. One big buried mama. Tank is okay. I can see the shrimp are quite active. I thought we would actually see some babies in here because the boa that's in there, or the fish bone galaxy that's in there, has been buried for a little while, and I'm like fingers crossed it would have babies by the time I come back, but I see it's not, so that is what it is. But I'm sure they'll come soon. Leaves have all been demolished. This tank we had 3 shrimp in it. 1, 2, 3. This girl had eggs. She had babies. And she did have babies before, but I can't see any right now. It doesn't mean that they're not in here. It just means I can't see any right now at this moment in time. And you get that sometimes, guys, where you think all the shrimp are dead and blah, 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 and they're not. You can't see everything all of the time. They could be under the wood, behind the filter. Yeah, it is what it is. This tank is doing really, really good. This is going along the same theme as our Blue Dream tank and our Green Jades. Neos are doing awesomely good. You do a 50% water change, fill it back up. It seems to get them to spurn on with their growth and their breeding, because we have a lot of baby shrimp on the glass and stuff on the inside here and all over the filter, and the adults are pretty big, and they have berries, they have eggs as well. This tank is doing good. I actually put some food in here a while ago because it's a little bit different with big crayfish, because obviously they are bigger animals and they need more food. So yeah, as soon as I came in, I put the stuff in. All the green mass that you can see on here is also food for them. Any plant material that goes in here they eat. Got all the shrimp on the filter. Little baba crayfish. Let's see, how's the Blue Dream tub getting on? Yeah, I can see they've eaten the leaf away to nothing as well. So yeah, leaves, banana leaves in particular, are very good food for holidays or emergencies like mine was. This tank needs a colour. I can see some red cherries in here. Speaking of which, how did they do? I can see this leaf isn't eaten away, but at the back here I can see like lots of cherries. Some babies here. My apologies, guys, I keep on hitting the leg of this tripod with my hand when I'm talking. Let's go up here. This tank needs water. That's one thing I have noticed in a lot of these tanks, is the evaporation level is a little bit low. So you can see on here, for example, that's like my lowest limit here before doing a top up, and we'll talk about that as well right now. I do need to do water changes, guys, but it's always better to do your top up first, maybe wait a few days and then do your water change, because if you do your water change on top of a tank that is evaporated like this, right, all you do is you steadily increase the TDS of the tank, and that's not what you want. You want to top up the water first so it decreases the TDS. You guys, you know what I'm talking about here. You can see in this tank how low this is. Normally this is a little bit higher, the water level. Look how far the filter is of the water. By the way, guys, this is a little bag of Purigen. You can see how brown this is. That's what I'm going to concentrate on going into the rest of the year, is water quality. So I'm doing Purigen in my tanks where I can, and we're doing switching oxidators as well, in tanks, soft water tanks in particular. And it doesn't seem to be such an issue with Neocaridina, because you can do bigger water changes with them. It's not the same with bay shrimp, right? Keep that in your head, it's not the same. These shrimp are doing fine. These shrimp seem to be They breed 1 minute, don't breed the next minute, breed 1 minute, don't breed the next minute, right? So I half expected, this is a big bit of banana leaf in here, I half expected to see some babies, but I can't see any at all. I'm talking about teeter-top babies, not your little mid-class babies, because see the little mid-class babies are only like 1 centimetre. I'm talking about teeter-top. I don't see a single one in this tank. It doesn't mean that they're not there, it just means that I'm not seeing them. Yeah, but there's a lot of shrimp in this tank. Let's see, I think I've talked about this tank countless times, saying yeah, I need to get in there and change it. That will happen soon. We have a lot of soil here. Hello, Mr. Amazonia. Let's have a look at our galaxies. Looking good. Galaxies are looking good. I actually did, as I said, I put a little bit of food in the tanks just to make sure that they're all okay and all right. The galaxies are fine. I don't see any babies in the gravel either, though. You can see, guys, right, so this leaf I put in here, what, more than a week ago, and it's just starting to be demolished now. There's a lovely looking galaxy there, you see it. Same with this tank. These shrimp are coming on quite well considering how many's in here. There's only like 4 or 5, so the feeding on a tank like this is quite hard. You have to really be patient with them. But look how green the algae is on the side here, you see it? 4 hours a day of light, that's all we need. Now this tank here is doing particularly well. Most of the adults died off in this tank a long time ago, remember? And we were left with a lot of babies. Well, the babies are now adults, and I can see a berry shrimp there. You guys can probably see them better than I can. I think that's a berry shrimp there. That girl is buried. Well, she's not buried. Maybe she's had her babies, because one of them was definitely buried before I left. But I don't see any babies right now. Let me see. Doing good. Tangerine tigers doing okay. We added some big Sulawesi snails in here just to help with the feeding, so I can actually feed the tank a little bit more and they can mop up the mess. This tank is empty. This tank is our panda tank, and they're doing okay as well. I can actually see one dead shrimp there, actually see it way at the back here. So it's something we'll have to pull out. And that leaf is half eaten, so we're still overfeeding a little bit. You can tell with the leaf, guys. Yeah, this is what you've got to judge things on. So we'll have to fish out that little dead shrimp. But yeah, so basically I have to top up the tanks, which I'm going to do. I won't do them all in front of you because topping up tanks, seriously, who's going to want to watch all that kind of stuff? We'll put some food in. There is some stuff I want to show you because yeah, I've been adding Purigen to my tanks. Oh. And I've been getting some supplies. I put Purigen in one of them yesterday just to see it, and the guys, they need a lot of rinsing before you put them in a tank. Just be aware of that, you can't put these straight in. Some of my tanks need leaves. Let's see, this tank definitely needs leaves. It's got one there, but we can add another. So these ones are straight from outside, we're just going to check them. This tank needs a leaf or two. And right now, guys, it's just to get by. It's just to get the shrimp by until we do proper maintenance and whatever else. You know what I mean. Get them their fibre. This tank doesn't have any leaf at all, so yeah, those little green jays have been busy little buggers. Get in there. We'll just grab all of these actually, and we'll see what needs it right now. See, like, so these leaves, that one's kind of okay, half eaten, but look at this, look. The Santas are doing so good in this tank. Look how clean the water is. These have enough. We did this, these need one more leaf. It's a big leaf for this tank, but we'll put it in. And yeah, I'll have to go over all of these and add leaves as I see. But yeah, these are okay for today. I'm just making sure, guys, that we have enough and everything. Okay. No leaf in this tank, so they've munched that whole leaf that time that I wasn't here. And you go. Yeah, that's okay. Right, while we're here, and while I remember, because my memory is like a sieve, let's get that dead shrimp out there. You see it right there. Getting the odd dead shrimp is to be expected when you're away for any length of time, right? So don't think that you're going to have huge issues. This shrimp could have died from anything. Well, one thing I did notice was we had baby shrimp in a little net. Yeah, none of them survived, unfortunately. Remember we had a little net here with the little clip on it, and there was orange-eyed blue tiger babies in it. Yeah, guys, one snail is all it takes to get into the tank and get into the net, and it will munch all the eggs, which is unfortunate. But this tank is doing so good that we will recover any losses, because you can see the tank is doing quite good. Did I even put food in here? I maybe didn't put food in here because I can't see it at all, unless one of them's grabbed it and run. Yeah, I can't see at all, but there's a lot of shrimp in here. Let's put more food in. I probably did put food, but I can't. If there is, I can't see it. Let's just grab some food. Let's grab one bit of food here. I'm going to try and break this bit in half with my fingers because I don't want to put a whole bit in. Remember, guys, don't overfeed. Just that's alright, a bit of that size. Let's see, is it there? And this will do them until I up my maintenance a little bit again. But really, you can see what's involved here. You really only need to watch that your water level is not going to drop too much when you're away, and make sure that your water's clean, basically. And most of the time it will be fine. So that's one shrimp I've lost. I've been away 8 days. And I see the tanks have babies as well, so yeah, you're going to start to build up numbers. That's what we're looking for. Let's see, I need to top up this tank the most, and this is the most boring part, guys. Most boring part, right? And I'm not going to bore you with this part too much. I'm going to stop the video here, I'm going to put my water in, I'll show you the water going in, and then we'll move on to the next thing, because I have other things to do in here. Alright guys, we have our water supply up here, a big tube like this, going all the way along like this, into this container here that is attached to this little connector, right? Normally I would add water via a flow valve, but I actually plan to be in my shrimp room for quite a few hours today. I'm not going to bore you with the top up stuff, but if I'm in here I'm going to use a little valve like this. If I'm not in here, I would typically use a valve like this. Right, and there's one already in this tank that is normally the thing I use. I just need to plug that into there, but because, again guys, because I'm going to be here, I'm going to switch it on, and I'm just simply going to place it over the edge like this. It's heavy enough that it keeps it in place, and the flow is a little bit better. So let's see if I can do this with one hand. The one-handed man. See, turn it on. There's the flow. That was good enough for this tank, right? And this will rise probably 5-6 centimeters in the next couple of hours. Right, and it's important, guys, that you do this before, a couple of days before you do your normal water changes, right? Please top up your tanks before you do a water change. As I said, you don't want to increase your TDS over time, because it does happen. Let me see. The next thing, guys, I think we're going to do is, I think maybe look at the Purigen stuff, because in my big tanks I'm adding Purigen. My bee shrimp tanks I'm adding Purigen, and I have one up here already. I have to fix this one because I would like to put a bigger bag of Purigen in it. Right now we just have a little pouch that's working on the sponge filter. Let me show you. It's actually working really well. You can see how brown that Purigen's turned. Ideally I would like to get one of these guys here. I have 2 hop filters in this tank. I'd love to take one of them off and put it onto that tank. But the issue with this tank is, you guys may be able to see here, is it has a thick rim all the way around, and then we have our lights sitting on the ends, right? So there's no space for the hub. I can't think of a way to add a hub onto this. But, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. But I think I'm going to show you this Purigen next, because yeah, it is important that you rinse this, guys. It's really, really important. Let's have a look. Okay, let me grab a pair of scissors. Scissors, Purigen pouch. These are much more finer than they used to be, as in the pouches are much more spread out. You'll see what I mean in a second. Like this, you see, they've given you much more extra material, so the stuff is looser inside. Before it used to be like a thick pillow. I prefer it this way a little bit, but I hope this is going to come out in camera. But yeah, you really need to rinse these. Let me throw this in here because I only have one hand for doing this. And you need to rinse them in, see all the milky stuff coming out? And I can actually feel some of the micro granules coming out as well onto my hand, right? So you need to rinse this before you put it in a filter, or on top of one of your sponge filters, or wherever you need to add it. So you can see the profile of this, it's much thinner than it used to be. But I'm going to look for a place to put this that is somewhere on one of my hop filters. If I can, I might do it like this. Put it all down to one end and just have it so it's like sitting like this in the top part of the hop filter, just for ease. Right, and make sure, guys, when you do this as well, make sure that you rinse the inside little flap, because there's a little flap on here. Make sure you rinse the inside, or what will happen is when you put this in your tank or in your filter, all these micro granules can go out into your tank. It happened to me yesterday. I put one into my other tank, and yeah, I hope it's not an issue with shrimp eating these micro particles. I don't think it will be, but yeah. So that's well rinsed. Let me just do that again, actually, this one bit here. Yeah, because I'm going to do it this way, make it all go to one end, like this. You'll see why in a second. Because I can't get it to fit because it's so long any other way, right? So you see how it has this space on top here of this little filter? I'm simply going to put it like this. And I'm just going to pat it so it flattens out a wee bit. Like so. And you know, yeah, I might actually put this inside, but yeah, it's going to go in a position like this, either inside or on top like that. You see it? Little pouch of Purigen. Purigen works amazing, guys. To recharge it, all you need to do is put it in bleach for 24 hours. Make sure that it is clean, pure white first. With bleach it will eventually turn pure white. That's how you recharge it. And then you need to dechlorine it. I use Safe. It's normally sat there, it's here. Like this stuff, I overdose this stuff. I put a couple of teaspoons in. This stuff lasts forever, right? So you're not really wasting things with this. I leave it again for 24 hours and then I rinse it thoroughly. Alright, shrimp farm, I went and actually found one of the little Purigen pouches that I put in here last week, and you can see probably just how brown that these can get. This is by far no means the worst one in any of the tanks. I have quite a lot of these, like just all over the place in tanks, and yeah, this one needs recharge. You can see it, how brown it is compared to the packet. Look, if you can see the difference between the packet, that's how white it should be, and that is the colour of it. You see it? So this needs recharged. As I said, you put it into a container, add bleach. I like to cover them in bleach just up past them, leave them in there for 24 hours, giving them a little shake, rinse them, dechlorinate them with your Safe or pure or prime or whatever else it is that you have, and yeah, the next day after they will be safe to use again. But guys, always make sure that these containers have some water in them. You can't let this dry out, okay? One of the last jobs I need to do today, right, is I see a lot of my oxidators are empty in quite a few of my tanks, so we need to get our arm in here and grab them. Let's see if I can grab this one. I'll do one on camera so you guys can see it, what it is I actually do. Give them a little shake, because sometimes you can get baby shrimp climb up inside them. In my big tanks I have 2 catalysts in them. You can see where my thumb is here, there's 2 catalysts in this. I'm going to put you here. Hopefully we can get you bent over. Oh, I didn't mean like that, go. Your mind is disgusting. 2 catalysts inside here from my big tanks, and I went down to 1 in my smaller tanks, guys, because I've been doing this for a little while, right? And what I've discovered is if you switch to 12%, you can actually get more oxygen into your tanks cheaper than if you use the 3%, because obviously it's a higher strength. It's more efficient because this stuff costs maybe €1 or €2 more. For example, guys, if I buy the 3%, it will cost me 4 or 5 euros. I'm thinking in Norwegian kroners there. 4 or 5 euros, but if I buy the 12%, it might be 6 euros. Right, so to get that little bit more strength, you're just paying a minimal amount, and it's cheaper in the long run, right? And the good thing about it is you're actually putting more oxygen into the tank. I just noticed a really different looking calcio here. Look at this little thing. I'm not sure if you'll see this on there. It looks like some type of fish bone. That's a weird little thing. Maybe that's how these are made, calcio. It looks like a little white fish bone. It looks like a fancy tiger fish bone. You see it wandering around there? Yeah, that is weird. Anyway, so what you do here is you take off your little plastic lid. I always, guys, when it gets to this low, because what happens in the oxidation process in here, it actually produces pure water as well, right? So this could be, if this is all that's left, this could be just pure water in here, right? So you want to get rid of that, right? And the way I do it is I put my thumb over the end, just and no more, over the sink, and just let it drip out. You see it, or pour it, that's it already. And then you grab your H2O2 like this, and I'll try and get it around this way because I don't want to be in the way of the camera. And you just fill it up, right, and you're meant to fill it up to about 90%. Hopefully you can see. I can't even see the screen of the camera, so 90%. Something like this, that will do. Right, so that has been more than a week since I filled these guys up, and this is the first one that needs filled. Let's have a little look at the other ones as well in a second. Right, we're going to see what other ones need filled up as well in the bigger tanks. Let's get you in here, right, and yeah, you just have to be careful you're not going to squish shrimp like that, and that is it. Just make sure it's level, and that's it. There you go, your H2O2 in the water, oxidator is in the water, and yeah, you can see the way I'm going with this is Purigen, H2O2, mega clean water, and we're going to see how that goes with our baby survival rates. Fingers crossed we'll see a big improvement. I've not really had a lot of deaths for a while, so yeah, what I'm doing is working. Remember my last video said where we're going in the right direction? We're going in the right direction. It takes a little while for things to start to click. For example, it could take what, a month for a buried female, oh my god, I can't speak, a buried female to have her babies. So remember that time frame, guys, that's 4 weeks. Everything's not instant. When you do stuff in shrimp tanks, you have to do it in slow increments and see the results over time. Alright, that's how I've learned. So one of the final jobs, guys, that I wanted to do today right on camera, because I have a lot of jobs to do in here, but this is one of the final ones I wanted to show you. I'm just showing you little segments of stuff that I will be doing in my shrimp room for the next couple of hours. And that is the Orange Eye Blue Tiger tank. Remember I said to you it was the last tank I can remember having deaths, right? And it is a newer tank, right? So I think I want to increase the filtration in this tank now, because yeah, this tank is still getting odd death. Every week or two there'll be another dead shrimp, and I think we can improve on this a little bit by adding to the filtration, because this tank isn't that old, right? It still might have new tank syndrome where the filter isn't properly matured. So yeah, I think if we add another filter to this tank in time to come, when we have lots more babies, because there is a lot of babies in here, they're all going to get bigger, right, and they're all going to add to this bioload. I think if we add a better filter to it now, to run in conjunction with the old filter, things will get better in this tank, and we should see a real baby boom in the tank, right? And to do this, right, my friend Del from Del Marine Aquatics, he has actually given me quite a few filters. Let me see, we're going to pick some up. I'm going to bring them over here just to give you an idea of what they look like. And by the way, guys, this isn't a paid promotion or anything like that. I will genuinely use these filters because I think they're really good, right? I would probably have all my sponge filters in my tanks like this. Let me get a wee bit back if I could, because you're getting a lot more filtration in something like this than you would in a standard little sponge filter. Let me show you as an example. Look, if we can find the tank where the sponge filter, this one here, look. Let me just turn the little lens around so you can see. Look at the difference in size. You see what I mean? Right, so you're talking 8 times the filtration, probably more. Right, if that was 1, 2, 3, 4, like if 4 of them were half of this, then you're talking 8 times the filtration in something like this, right? So the way you want to do it is you want to mark up your filter size before you add it to the tank. And what I mean by that, guys, is you ideally, in an ideal world, right, if you're adding this to the tank, you want this filter, the way I like to have it is this spout here just a tiny bit above the water, right, so you're not getting backflow going in. In a lot of my tanks you see I have it like this, a little bit higher, because as I said I've been adding Purigen, right, and it's the only real way I can think of to add Purigen into a tank like this without adding it into something. You see how this is on a cable tie next to the sponge filter, and that works perfectly. You see how brown it is, so that way works. But if you're using it just a standard filter like this, what you would do is you'd measure from the base of the sand up to the top, and you'd want this to be in line or just above the water level. Alright, so let's see, is this a good filter for this tank? I would say yes. Look how close that is to being perfect. So we're going to add this to the tank. I'm going to give it a quick rinse. Let me just show you the filter first, because I think it is pretty good. It's got 2 slate on the bottom to weigh it down. I think these are glued on the base. They are. You see it's glued here, so these things will be super easy to clean. Simply take out the top like this, and you rinse the entire base under the tap. Alright, and then you put your intake part into the sponge like this. This is quite a snug fit as well, don't worry about shrimp and stuff going out like this, like you can see. And there's an air stone in the centre as well, so you get quite fine bubbles coming out. So I'm going to give this a rinse, and we're going to add it to this tank, and we're going to see if we can increase the filtration a wee bit. The uplift power on this is actually really, really good. Considering how much power I'm putting through it, this is not even a quarter of the way down, and you can see how much more power it's putting through the water than the sponge filter next to it. That's very interesting actually. Bigger diameter pipe. Let me take this off so you can see it a little bit better. I know this one's not in the water, but you get the gist. You see how much more it's moving the water? I don't think I have any of my sponge filters pushing the water as hard as this. Give you an example. Look, this one is above the water a little bit. But look at the Salvinia, how little it's moving compared to this. So that is a really good design. It's a little bit floaty right now, but I did make sure the base underneath was, the ground's a little bit uneven, so if when this does eventually sink, which it will, any shrimp that are under here will be able to get out really easily. It'll go down gradually, yeah, but I think this will make a massive difference to this tank. I think I can see all the baby shrimp all over the place. Yeah, this will make a massive difference to this tank, because this tank was probably needing it, as we said, like the baby shrimp right here, because they're breeding like crazy, but the filtration is still so new that I was still seeing the odd death rate. So this will make a massive, massive difference, I think. Guys, let me know in the comment section as well. Do you think this will make a difference or not? Guys, so I think that wraps up the video for today, and the main focus was to get the tanks back into a better condition where we have a bit of food for them, concentrate on the water flow and water quality. You can see that as well, the way I'm going with my tanks, because I think it makes a big, big difference to baby shrimp survival if you get the water as clean as possible. Right, and yeah, I think we can achieve that with Purigen and our Soaching oxidators, regular water changes. Yeah, you'll see all this in the future, because we're going to go into more advanced stuff as well, I think, in the coming weeks, and yeah, it will be awesome. Guys, let me know in the comment section below if you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please leave a like and a thumbs up, and guys, I'll see you all in the next one. Happy shrimp keeping, much love, bye. Whoop.